Բարի երեկո սիրելի բարեկամներ, այսօրվա մեր հայդակիրն է ամերիկյան համալսարանը Հայաստանի մեջ եւ այսօրվա մեր հյուրն է երկու անձնավորություններ, որ կներկայացնեն այդ համալսարանը. Welcome. We're going to do the show in English as I promised you. Tell us a little bit about the university for the audience. You know, if somebody doesn't know anything about the university in Armenia, the American University of Armenia.
Sure. So the American University of Armenia was founded on the same day that Armenia declared independence, September 21st, 1991. It's almost 30 years old. But it started as a graduate school only with 101 students, 2 programs, master's degree MBA and a master's in earthquake engineering. And today
So
the university,
business and engineering.
business and engineering.
Classes.
It was founded out of a partnership between the University of California, the government of Armenia, and the AGBU, and really was founded out of the devastation of the 1988 earthquake. 3 of the trailblazers for the university, Dr. Armen Dergurian, Dr. Miran Akhbabian, and Dr. Stepan Karamadyan, were the impetus behind forming the relationship with the founding partners. They visited Armenia after the earthquake, took a look at the devastation from the demolished Polytech University that was in Gumri, and realized that the country really could use a graduate school that focused on master's education.
And a little bit about background about yourself, Dr. Melkonian. What's your role at the university? I mean, I forgot to start that because we wanted to discuss the university.
But just a little bit, because I'd rather talk about the university.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
So I'm the Dean of General Education at the university. I wear 2 hats. I'm also the Director of Institutional Research, Accreditation, and Assessment. In my role as Dean of General Education, I work across our undergraduate programs. So just like many of the universities in the United States, a degree at the American University of Armenia is made up of the major and general education. And the major helps students develop depth in their field, and general education helps them develop a breadth and perspective around their discipline, but really looking at things from lots of different perspectives.
When did you join the university?
It's been almost 9 years now. Right when we were launching our undergraduate program. So back in 2013, the university launched an undergraduate program after 20 plus years of being a graduate school only, with 3 programs. At the time, a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, a Bachelor in Business, and a Bachelor of English and Communications. Today, we've increased the undergraduate programs to 5. We've added data science and engineering sciences at the undergraduate level.
How many students total?
So today we have about 1,300 undergraduates and about 400 graduate students.
1,700 altogether students.
And today we have, instead of just 2 graduate programs, which we had back in 1991, we now have 9 master's programs. So the 9 master's programs are complemented with 5 undergraduate programs.
These 1,700 students, are they all from Armenia or from all over the world? Armenians coming from every country.
Yeah, Mike, thanks for asking, because a lot of people think that the university is only services students from Armenia, and that's not true. Of course, our mission is to help develop Armenia and the region and the world, and overwhelming majority of the students are from Armenia. But about 10% of our students come from countries around the world. We have some students from the United States, a lot of students from India, from Iran. We now have more students who are coming from both Syria and Lebanon. So we do have an international student body. It's small.
What is the tuition like? I mean, how much a typical student pays?
So the undergraduate, much less than they pay in the United States.
That's for sure.
Less, yes.
You know. Although USC made a decision
today.
They
did today. I read that.
And free up to $80,000. If the family makes $80,000, tuition is free.
So maybe instead of focusing on what the tuition is, I could say this. We have a need-blind admission policy, which is very unique in Armenia. It's also unique in the United States. A lot of universities are not able to do that, but we have a need-blind admission policy, and our And our policy around this, around providing financial aid, is that we don't want a student left behind because they can't afford it.
So if a student from Armenia, good student, good grades, cannot afford it, what he or she can do? Apply to aid, ask for support? I mean,
Absolutely. Over 50% of our students receive some sort of financial assistance. Between merit, we have merit-based scholarships, but we also have a very large need-based financial aid program that I think Marianna is going to speak a little bit about
Right.
later.
Yes, definitely.
since you're providing over 50% in aid, how does the university balances its budget? I mean, running a university is not a easy task. I mean, there's salaries, there are expenses. How do you cover the budget?
That's what we cover.
Yeah, that's a great question. So you hit the nail on the head. Tuition only pays for about 38% of the education at the university.
How do you cover the 62%?
And incredibly generous donors who have been with the university since day one. A very ambitious and active development office. A lot of individuals, a lot of organizations that have supported the university since its launch. So it comes from that.
That's where your role is, Marianna. I mean,
Yes.
being in the United States,
Yes.
trying to reach out to the folks here in
Yes.
the States, saying, look, help the university.
To
or-
add to what Sharistan just said, it's very important for our audience to understand that AUA is a private university, so it's funded by private donors, and it has been funded by private donors since inception. And to be honest, our donors, our supporters have been incredibly generous throughout the decades. And without them, we consider AUA to be diaspora's investment in Armenia. It truly is the diaspora's investment, especially US diaspora's investment in Armenia. And up until today, like Sharistan mentioned, the need-blind admission policy is something that is very unique to institutions all over the world, but especially in Armenia. And there's a misconception in Armenia as well that I keep hearing from people that because the tuition level is a little bit higher at AUA than in other institutions in Armenia, well, mainly because the quality of education is better and quality education costs more money. But people are unaware that this is a need-blind university, admission university, which means that every individual who's academically qualified to be at AUA, they will be accepted regardless of their financial state. And that's where our supporters come in when they support the
We're going to take a
students.
break. When we come back, we'll talk about that, how the university is supported by its generous donors, and how do you balance this budget, which is not an easy task nowadays to to comply with. Սեր պայգամներ գաչ թաթարմը բիդարնեք եւ պիտի վերաթանաք մեր հայդակրին։ Սիրելի բարեկամներ, այսօրվա մեր հայդակիրն է Ամերիկյան համալսարանը Հայաստանի մեջ։ Just before the break, we were talking about the financial aid and how the university is supported, and the generous donors, especially in the United States, been funding the university. What are the future plans? I mean, how do you sustain that the university can be self-sufficient, if there is such a thing, being self-sufficient?
Well, the university has been pretty successful in expanding. Like Dr. Melkonian mentioned, we've implemented the undergraduate program, which brought another level of pressure on the university because many more students are applying. Obviously, we have bigger programs, more student population, so we have to be able, and like she mentioned, about 50% of our students need some kind of financial aid to be able to continue their education at AUA. So this puts a big pressure on university budget, like you said. And our office, the development office our main office is in Oakland, but taking the opportunity, I want to inform our audience that
Why
we also
Oakland, of all places?
because the American
It's not
University of
LA
Armenia
or Glendale.
Corporation, because we have this special partnership again, like
Oh, with
Dr.
the
Melkonian
university,
mentioned, with the
okay.
University of California.
Right, okay, that makes sense.
And that's how the corporation has been established there in Oakland. But we have an office here in Glendale now. For about 2 years, we've established, 2.5 years we've established an office here in Glendale. And the main reason, the main goal of this office was exactly that, to inform our community, our vast Armenian community here, about the university, its initiatives, its programs, its goals, and to let them know what are the outlets through which they can support our students. And our main product being our students, we basically support education, or what they do is they basically support education, which is the future. We all know that without a quality education, there can be no future for
the young
any
generations.
country. Yes. So we've been working extremely hard, our office. We're a team of only 6 people, both in Oakland and in LA. But we've been working extremely hard to be able to bring the support that is necessary to sustain our operation. Of course, currently, luckily, throughout the 30 years, the university has been able to establish a pretty large endowment that has been supporting our budget as well. This endowment, it's very important to note that this endowment is held at the University of California's large endowment pool. So the University of California is managing our endowment for us.
So from the income of that endowment, you're supporting the university? Is that
Yes,
how?
that's part of the income to support the budget of the university. But the rest, I just want to let everyone know that we don't receive any kind of government aid to support our academic programs or our students. So it's basically, again, like I said, this is diaspora's investment in Armenia. And we tirelessly work every day to be able to show people how important this support is. And with the American standards, with the US standards, the tuition at AUA, even though by Armenian standards being a little bit higher than any other education institutions in Armenia, by US standards is very low. And in reality, an amount, I'll give the amount, an amount of $3,500 a year supports a student at AUA. That's the average tuition for Armenian citizens studying at AUA.
What if a foreign, somebody from US or somebody from
The
Lebanon
cost of
goes there?
education at AUA is about $10,000.
Okay.
So if someone is not an Armenian citizen or special resident, then they need to pay the full cost, the $10,000. But for Armenian citizens, there is an automatic subsidy that goes in. So they pay about $3,500 depending on the degree program. And this $3,500 actually change lives. They change the future of the student. They completely reform their lives when you see the impact that they make. And our students write letters to their donors. And when we receive these letters where they show how this financial aid, this tuition assistance made a difference in their lives, in their families' lives.
Are there individuals, they say, okay, I'm going to sponsor one student, I'm going to pay the $3,500,
Yes.
or a couple of students, I'm going to pay $7,000 a year, whatever
yes.
that amount is.
We have a lot of individuals who do that. A lot of them. And we've been incredibly lucky with these generous supporters who understand the value of education, who understand the importance of supporting the education, giving the gift of education. And it's not just the annual scholarships, we also have endowment options. There are people who invest in a certain amount of endowment that generates annual scholarships in perpetuity throughout their lives and forever. We have people who are not with us anymore, unfortunately, but their legacy stays with us because their scholarships continue paying.
Dr. Melkonian, we talk about the education and the quality education. And clearly, AUA has a very high standards of education, even though tuition is pretty low compared to American standards. Now, how do you keep that standard to make it such a high bar of having a great education in Armenia?
A combination of great faculty, great administration, and great staff. But I would say the university's accreditation with the Western Association of Schools and Colleges, WASC, that accredits the University of California and California State University and all of the universities and colleges in California, also accredits the American University of Armenia. It was a process the university started way back in 2002 because it was committed to building a quality institution, and an institution that was committed to constantly improving itself and engaging in continuous review, continuous improvement. And that accreditation has really helped the university continue to strive for quality. Now, it can't do it by itself. The faculty and the staff have to be engaged in those processes. But that accreditation is a bit of a golden star for the university. It symbolizes that the university is a quality one, that individuals can count on that quality. They can count on the university being open and transparent about what its challenges are, and to getting feedback about how it can do better each year. So that was a really important milestone for the university. It earned accreditation back in 2006. It has engaged in the review of accreditation a number of times since then, and it is a really important milestone for not just for the university, but for the country. For the country to look and see that quality education is important, not just for our institution and our students. They are in English.
In English, okay. They're not in Russian or Armenian.
The American University of Armenia, the language of instruction is English.
Is English, okay.
Right.
I was just curious, but I knew it has to be in English. Okay, fantastic. I mean, that's admirable to teach quality education in Armenia and prepare the future generation in various fields of business and engineering and so forth. I think that's very good. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, we'll talk about the future and what are your plans and why are you visiting here. I know you're from Boston, but why are you here in California? Սեր պայգամներ գաշտաթարմը բիդանեք և բիդի վերաթանակ մեր այսօրվա հայդակրին։ Սիրեր պայգամներ գբերաթանակ մեր հայդակրին և I pass it on to you. You have final thoughts.
You know, Mike, thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to talk about
I believe in the education and believe in the education in Armenia, and you guys do a wonderful job.
And we would love for you to come and visit the university the next time you're in the country.
I'll be honored, and I'll be happy to come. If there's anything I can do for the university, I'm always ready. So I give a lecture there in not in the business school, in the medical school when I was there last time. So I'll be happy to do it.
That's good to know.
Any final thoughts on your part before we close our show?
Just to add to that, I mean, I hope that our audience will enjoy the video, but I also want to tell everyone, let everyone know that we're always happy to give tours to everyone from the Armenian diaspora who's visiting Armenia. They can stop by at AUA, they can call us, we will arrange a personal tour for them so that they have a better understanding of what this university is.
Great, thank you so much. Well, have a safe flight and back to Armenia. Okay. Մի դիպրատարակ մեր հայդակրին շնորհակալ ենք։
Armenian women are the integral link that bind together the Armenian family, community, and cultural heritage, fulfilling many roles as a mother, wife, friend, and professional. Armenian women are significant both in the home and in the workplace. When given the opportunity, they can blossom into influential leaders. Imagine an Armenia where every young girl is taught to believe in herself, is encouraged to dream, and is taught to persevere until she has succeeded in achieving her goals. Imagine an Armenia with gender equality, enhanced economic productivity, a country that holds hope for a bright future. Now imagine that all of that can be a reality. Through the Yes Armenian Women Can campaign, the American University of Armenia has made educating Armenia's young women from all across the country a priority.
At AUA, there are more women students interested in computer science and engineering than is the norm in most American universities. Many of our graduates in IT or engineering fields are employed in the industry, and some of them are in lead positions. If we have more resources to support these students, we will have many more of them coming into computer science and engineering. They're excellent students, they have enormous potential, and I would say they are an untapped resource for the industry that needs talented computer science and engineering graduates.
When I was a high school student at Sisian High School, AUA seemed like a dream to me. I could never imagine that one day I would be a proud AUA student.
We started the scholarship, and when we received Lilia's letter of gratitude, it brought tears to both our and I's eyes. Both of us are so proud that we are in a position to be able to help someone in need and empower someone.
And we need to ensure that we have the support to bring more and more women into the field, to educate them as part of our curriculum, and to create opportunities for women and girls to aspire, to develop their intellectual capacities and their potential, where they can think about how to use science and technology to solve the world's problems.
Technology is the great game changer today, and I can think of no better path for young women to embark on than to become experts and creators, emerging industries in science and engineering, and change the world.
The women in Armenia in the future are going to play a bigger and bigger role in a lot of different areas, in business, in administration. They are not going to be just limited to the traditional female roles.
When I have visited Armenia, I've been very, very impressed with the young people I meet at the American University of Armenia. They're extremely bright, extremely talented, and energetic, and I think this is the foundation for the future of Armenia.
Women are really stellar when they are in positions of leadership, power, and responsibility.
AUA had and still has its own role in my life. It was a new system, a new way, which made my path to my professional career and appearing in worldwide known big company, about which anybody dreams, but didn't expect it to happen so soon.
I really encourage all the girls and women to apply for a job in like a technology sphere, because you can be sure that there is always demand, and it is very interesting. It opens a lot of doors, and you can get what you want and what you dream about.
40% maybe in our engineering force and even management team is females, contributing not only because of their, they are good developers, but also because they created very good culture in the company.
The interest is there, the creativity is there, the dedication and the passion is there. What it takes is our support and encouragement. The future of Armenia, the future of all of our communities will be far better when we can involve all of our population.
Last year in April, I had the wonderful opportunity of meeting Laura when she came to Armenia for a Women's Empowerment Conference.
And the minute that Lilia walked through the door, I immediately recognized her, and just pure tears of joy fell down both of our faces. And we just hugged and could not let go.
Laura became a true role model for me, and the motivation, which continuously flies from her side to mine, drives me every single day to chase my dreams and goals.
And from that moment on, made the decision that I wanted to develop a relationship with her, or at least let her know that we are here as her cheerleaders.
You will be amazed when you hear and listen to these students about their ideas, the fire in their eyes, the creativity, but doing it in a way that really cares about the people who are impacted.
This is the time, this is the place, and the American University of Armenia has had such an extraordinary impact, I believe, on the country. I think this is one of the best investments the diaspora has made in Armenia, because it has brought a Western style of education to Armenia.
Armenia has the opportunity to be a world-class tech center. So I wanted to support AUA because I wanted AUA to be the shining star of the Armenian tech movement forward.
Most of the opportunities, most of the programs that are offered leave the rural women out. They are not necessarily intentionally included in anything. And I think that with opportunities, these women will also be a major part of this empowerment movement, as well as the economy, the welfare and progress of Armenia.
Lilia being the only female out of, I believe, 6 other young candidates, and then also to be extended a full-time offer in a foreign company, I truly believe that it's not only who Lilia is inside, because she has this lioness of a spirit, but it's what she's learned at AUA that has enabled her to give her the tool set to go for it and to make her successful and to get that offer.
Ara and Laura inspired me to pursue my dream 3 years back, and I cannot be thankful enough to them for the person I have become and for where I proudly stand now.
Even though Lilia is going to be graduating, we will continue to support this scholarship in honor of our grandfathers and hope to continue to build this amazing network of women in computer science.
AUA in many ways represents, especially for the US diaspora, a continuation of values, a continuation of education style, a continuation of equal rights for women. So supporting AUA is helping the country that an Armenian is connected to and bringing the bar up for everybody.
I see AUA as being the conduit and the bridge between both the diaspora and the youth of Armenia. And given its programs and its link to the diaspora, I see that it's really going to set up its students for success.
From the beginning of Armenia's history, women have navigated and bolstered the Armenian nation. Now it's their time to enter the professional world with full force and portray the strength and capabilities of the Armenian woman on a global stage. AUA will create a venue and a platform to consider the strengths and talents of the Armenian woman, highlight her role in persevering, and at the same time, reinventing the definition of what it means to be an Armenian woman. As we do our part here on AUA's campus to foster a supportive environment for female students, we ask you to kindly consider making a gift to the Yes, Armenian Woman Can campaign. Your gift to AUA will facilitate female empowerment through promoting academic participation and preparing the next generation of professional women who will lead the country toward prosperity. Together, we can nurture the Armenian woman and give her the best education, tools, and resources to fulfill all of her dreams. Yes, Armenian women can. They always could.
Սեր պայգամներ, այսօրվա մեր հայդակիրն է Ամերիկյան համալսարանը Հայաստանի մեջ. Marianna, just before the break, you want to say something regarding the university and the aid and so forth. So go ahead. I think that's important.
In addition to what I just mentioned, I just wanted to also talk about two very critical campaigns that we currently run, which are very important for the university and its advancement. And this specifically target two quite vulnerable groups in Armenia. One is called Yes, Armenian Women Can campaign, and that campaign is a scholarship endowment campaign aimed to raise about $2.5 million endowment that will support about 8,200 girls at AUA who want to study in technology fields. And we all know how important technology field in Armenia is and what a growing field it is right now. And there is an enormous shortage of specialists in Armenia, and we want to encourage these girls to get into that field. This is something that it's a field that has been traditionally dominated by males, and we want to really encourage our girls to get into this field because there's a huge potential, and given the opportunity, they can really blossom and become influential leaders there. I hope we will be able to show our video that we have on this campaign, which is very emotional, and we have a lot of students featured there. I'm sure our audience will like it. The other campaign that we're currently running, and it's one of the other critical campaigns that we do, is called Honoring Those Who Served, Investing in Our Veterans Education, and that's another scholarship endowment campaign. As you can see, our main support is looking for scholarships for our students and taking that burden off the university's budget. So this endowment campaign is aimed to raise about $1.5 million. to support our veteran students, the ones that go into the military.
And I interviewed
service.
one of them.
You interviewed one of them, Armenian, who's actually
that's
a face of our campaign.
Right.
So these kids come back and they need the support and the encouragement to continue with their studies at AUA. They come back, they become change men. And it's really hard for them to get into their regular routine and continue with their education. So support for them at that point in their life plays a crucial role, especially if it's not only financial support, but also moral support, psychological support, so that they can get back on the track and continue and become successful individuals in life.
Marianna, can I also add to that when the students go, your viewers might not know, but in Armenia, military conscription is mandatory for all males when they're 18. So some of our students will get admitted and then go right off to the Army. Some of them will serve for us, will come and go to class for a semester or two and then go to the Army and come back. So this campaign is incredibly important to help those students transition back into an academic environment. They might not have read too much in English while they were away for 2 years protecting the country, and we want to make their transition to that academic environment much easier.
From a military to a civilian. Okay, that's fantastic. What are your future plans for the university?
You know, the university is...
How do you see yourself 5-10 years from now?
The university I hope we're talking about?
That's what we're talking about.
So the university,
our topic is the university.
The university is expanding its academic programs.
Okay, that's
so
good.
We'll see a number of new programs coming up. I don't want to talk too much about what those are. You'll hear that in the news soon.
I thought this is the news.
Well, you'll hear it we'll let you know first. We will let you know first. But some of those announcements haven't been made yet. But we're going to increase the number of academic programs at the institution, but also increase the programming for students and increase the opportunities for faculty to be engaged in collaborations with other institutions around the world. One of the student engagement opportunities right now is happening in the East Coast. We've got 8 AUA students are at Worcester Polytech Institute in Massachusetts for this term. They're studying with WPI students, and they will return to Armenia in about 3 weeks with 16 WPI students to engage in projects in Armenia. So it's an incredible opportunity for students to grow with one another, to learn from one another. We have faculty engaged in that project as well. So AUA faculty and faculty from WPI are teaching courses together, and they're going to come back and be engaged in 6 different projects across Armenia. So it's an incredible opportunity, and we want to be able to provide similar opportunities to students to engage in real life experiences with different institutions around Armenia, outside of Armenia, so that when they come back, they can utilize those experiences to help develop the country.
Any plans for you, since you are local here in Glendale?
Well, our plans with the development office are always to move forward our initiatives and engage our community here. We're always happy to talk to people if they're interested, if they have any questions that they want to ask. Our contact information, I hope, is going to be on the screen. So anyone who wants to get in touch with us, they can come. We're always welcoming guests. They can come to our office, stop by. We will give them all the information they need. And just going back to what Sharistan mentioned about students coming here and studying, there is also a concern that we've noticed among diaspora. Sometimes our supporters mention that they have this concern that students, after getting the education at AUA, leave the country, and there's always the danger of them getting quality education and a diploma and then leaving the country. Just want to make sure and mention that the statistics tell the opposite, actually. About 75 to 80% of our students after graduation stay in Armenia. In fact, for undergraduate level, that number is much higher than graduate level. And most of our students, within 3 months of graduation, when I say most, it's the vast majority, almost 95% of our students, within 3 months after graduation, they are able to find employment.
Well,
and they're very successful. That's a very high number for Armenia standards.
It was very nice of you visiting us today. I appreciate it. It was really nice meeting you and getting to know a little bit more about the university, which I already had some ideas, and it's a wonderful work you guys do, on behalf of the Armenian population as well as the Armenians worldwide. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Sure. Thank you so much. Սիրելի բարեկամներ, կփակենք այսօրվա մեր հայրակիրը, մեր շնորհակալությունը ամերիկյան համալսարանին Հայաստանի մեջ եւ իրենց աշակերտներուն։ Գիշեր բարի։